Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong for the Carolina Panthers on Monday Night Football. I actually felt good about this game. Could not tell you why. Have no idea. And now watching the game, I look like a complete idiot. But I guess I thought, well, we're 6-5. We have a really good chance at the division. First time that we would have the solo division lead since 2016. By the way, I was 9. And Tampa Bay just got manhandled by the Rams. Baker Mayfield out with a shoulder injury. Really, all the stars were aligning. Fred Warner, Nick Bosa out for the year. Bryce Young coming off of a career day, 448 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no turnovers against the Falcons, who statistically were the best passing defense in the NFL. So I really thought that this game had the makings of a really good Panthers win that could propel us into playoff contention. And I heard the noise all week from the media. The Panthers are frauds. The Panthers aren't good. The 49ers are about to humble them. And I just didn't listen to any of it. Because I've heard this before. I heard this when we played Dallas. I heard this when we played Green Bay. I have heard this movie before. And for some reason, I thought that this game was going to be different. I really did. The 49ers tried to give this thing away. It's not like they played a great game. Brock Purdy, 193 yards, 3 interceptions. Did have a Juwan Jennings touchdown early on, but Brock Purdy was awful. He was really, really bad. Arguably the worst I've seen him in quite some time. I was really surprised when Kyle Shanahan didn't bring out Mac Jones in the second half. But Bryce Young wasn't any better. 169 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. And that first interception literally had me looking like Will Levis. You know the picture where he has his hands over his head after he throws a pick? He's on his knees. Yeah, that was a live look at my living room on Monday night. Because Bryce Young had the angle. I don't love the play call there. At the 2-yard line, having a top 5 back in Rico Dowdle and not punching it in. That didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, as did a lot of the play calling that Dave Canales had. I'll be very critical of him. He did not call a good game. But even though you do call whatever, that play action slide play is what it would be in Madden, but just a very simple end around, which is really not good in the red zone. Bryce Young had an angle to run it in, but instead he throws it into triple coverage. It gets picked. Now, his second interception wasn't great. It was not a great throw, but I'm going to give him a little bit of grace. The officials missed a pretty clear pass interference call that should have gone Tetairoa McMillan's way. He got held all the way through this pass, and then it got undercut. The Panthers' luck was awful. I mean, J.C. Horn out with a concussion. Corey Thornton, his backup, coming in and getting hurt as well. Chandler Zavala got hurt. We had so many different injuries. And Christian McCaffrey, man, he had his way. 89 yards and a touchdown, was a freak in the passing game as well. Definitely showing what I missed so much when he was in Charlotte. George Kittle had a great game, 78 yards, 6 receptions. Our offensive line looked like a shell of itself. I don't know if it's because Cade Mays wasn't playing, but man, this was just bad. Robert Saleh made our offense look like a bunch of little boys. He made Bryce Young look like a little boy peewee football quarterback. And I don't like to say that. I don't like being critical of Bryce Young. It's not fun. I've said this before. It's really not fun. I'll say the same thing that I said 2 weeks ago. If I just wanted to talk bad about Bryce Young for clicks because it's convenient and because it's easy, do you really think that I'd have a poster up of him behind me? I really like Bryce Young, but the fact of the matter is that he's not consistent. And that's a tough pill to swallow. That doesn't mean that he won't ever get consistent, but the clock is running out. We are almost at the end of year 3. And sure, the Panthers are better than they were last year. They have already won more games this year than they did all of last year. We have played 12 games. There is still a good amount of football to be played and still a lot of quality games left to play. I mean, we've got New Orleans, we've got Tampa Bay twice, Seattle is winnable. You notice I left off the Rams game next week. That's because we are not beating the Rams. The Rams are 9-2, and in my eyes, they are playing the best football in the NFL. They are my Super Bowl favorites at this point. Matthew Stafford, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Just a dangerous offense. And then the defense led by my favorite player on that defense, Jared Verse. I believe they're going to give the Panthers some struggles. I don't care that it's at home. I believe we will see a similar score that we did for Tampa Bay. If the Panthers win this game and get to 7-5, they beat San Francisco, things are really looking good because you can lose to the Rams and it's fine. Just beat the Saints. You don't even really have to beat Seattle if you beat Tampa Bay twice, which Tampa Bay is falling apart at the seams. They have lost, I think it's 3 out of their last 5. Baker Mayfield's now hurt. He didn't even really play well when he was in the game. So really, opportunities were there, and that's the recap I would give for this game. Opportunities were there. Brock Purdy wanted to give our defense this game. J.C. Horn, 2 interceptions before he went down with a concussion. Mike Jack got a really pretty one in the end zone. I mean, I was hyped, but we couldn't do anything on offense. The only time our offense showed any spark of life was the drive that Bryce Young ended with a 29-yard touchdown to Tedoroa McMillan, who did not play well. I mean, our leader in receiving yards was Rico Dowdle, who I didn't even really feel like was on the field that much. We had Chuba Hubbard in way too much. Tedoroa McMillan, just 2 receptions for 35 yards and a touchdown. He had 2 crucial drops. One of them was completely wide open. One of them, I will give him a little bit of grace because a DB was in the area. And Tedoroa McMillan's been terrific. So don't take what I'm saying as Tedoroa McMillan slander or that he's a bad receiver. Absolutely not, because he's very good. He had an off night against San Francisco. San Francisco's still a good team. As beat up as they are, no Brandon Ayuk, like I said at the beginning, no Fred Warner, no Nick Bosa, no Mykel Williams, who they drafted this year. Brock Purdy has struggled with injuries. George Kittle has struggled with injuries. We all know about Christian McCaffrey's injury history over the years. This is still a good football team. Kyle Shanahan is still a good coach. And Robert Saleh is, in my eyes, the best defensive coordinator in the game. I really shouldn't be surprised, but for some reason I am. I have gotten too spoiled with winning because this is the Panthers of the old. This game, this reminded me so much of 2024 Panthers or 2023 Panthers or even further back than that. This was not the Panthers team that I have seen beat Green Bay. This is not the Panthers team that I saw come back from Atlanta. This is not the Panthers team that I saw win a shootout against Dallas. I don't want to say we're out of the playoff run because we're not. We're not out of the hunt. But boy, it gets a lot tougher. This game was crucial, especially when you want to look back at the game against New Orleans that we should not have lost, and Arizona, who we should have not spotted 10 points at the beginning of the game. But I just don't see us beating the Rams. I know anything can happen, but let's just say that we're 6-7 going into our bye. We're going to have to beat New Orleans, which I think we will. And I think we're going to have to sweep Tampa Bay. That gets us to 9-8 if we lose to Seattle. I don't know that that's good enough. It's going to depend on what Tampa Bay does, how healthy they are. I don't like having to rely on this. I really don't. And we may have to win out. And it just depends on how Sam Darnold's doing the day of the Seattle game. I understand why the Panthers aren't on primetime. I really do. I totally understand. This was bad all around, from the players to the coaching staff, and I hope this is another 1-week slump. However, we are running out of time for 1-week slumps. We have got to be better. This was completely embarrassing.